Hey people, my name's Carl and welcome to Game On.
Alrighty, so today on the Australian CEDH server, I'm playing Kodama and Sakashima. We had Strix on Urza, Migs on Varolz. Is that how I say it? Varolz?
Varolz, yep.
Varolz, okay. And we had Jank playing Marath. It was actually a reasonably quick game. So that was fourth turn, wasn't it? You put a land out every turn, didn't you, Strix? An extra.
Yeah. So it was the fifth turn, start of the fifth turn cycle
Okay.
that you had the win.
As you would have seen in the game, I got Sakashima out, which copied Kodama. I then put out Moloku, the memory jar with the trigger on the stack, popped the memory jar, got myself a new hand, and then figured out a way where I could basically bounce lands and get myself clues, draw the deck, and get to Sun-Scorched Desert. So it was a pretty standard sort of Kodama Sakashima win, to be 100% honest, but for me it's a lot of fun because it just sort of combos out of nowhere. Like, I was sort of relying on that memory jar a bit to give me an extra piece, and then I stupidly sort of figured out I didn't actually need the memory jar at all. I had Moloku. All I needed to do was create infinite mana, get clues, draw deck, get Sun-Scorched Desert. So it shows sometimes when players sort of overthink things maybe a little bit. Which I tend to do a lot in CEDH, unfortunately. I'm not going to lie, Strix, your hand was the one that worried me the most. Because I thought if you pick up some kind of chain of vapor or something like that, you could have potentially put a crimp in my plans. A very big crimp. So you worried me the most. I think Migs, I'm always worried about Assassin's Trophies in black-green. They're just always there, at least for me. And Jank, I wasn't sure what he was going to do, but he's got white, so he's probably got Path to Exiles and that kind of stuff, which could sort of stop me as well. But yeah, it didn't seem to happen. I will admit that this is the third time I've used the memory jar, and twice it has, once it worked, and the other time it just filled up everyone's hands with counter spells and various other things, and they just went nope.
Yeah. I mean, I got like 10 to 12 pieces of interaction I could have got. I mean, I'm drawing 7 cards out of a population of like 85. And the chances of me having no interaction there was maybe 10%, not even. And I happened to draw 4 lands, for example. It was just...
So
it was a good jar.
what was in your
Sometimes-
hand when you finished?
It was a Narset's Reversal.
Oof.
And I got one blue open.
Yep.
A Storage Matrix, a Jeweled Amulet, and 4 lands.
Wow.
So it was just RNG. But that's the nature of wheels, right? Sometimes
Yeah.
a wheel will give you a win when you don't deserve it, and sometimes the wheel will give you an L when you deserve to win. You know? That's how wheels go. But I think it was a very solid memory jar, honestly. The fact that Marath is not in blue and Varolz is not in blue, you're very safe to just wheel willy-nilly and try and push through the win. I mean, I think in this particular instance, it will give you more wins than losses.
I think you're right
Yeah,
there
for
too,
sure.
most assuredly. So what sort of line were you going up with Urza to try and get to your objective? Were you just drawing to...
I mean, look, with the cute little interaction of making a Kodama, I mean, it was going to give me some value here, but I had the only real proper decision that had to be made there was the Tezzeret. I neg-2'd the Tezzeret, and I had to choose between, well, I could have neg-3'd it. I could have gone with a Static Orb or a Winter Orb, for example, but no, I went with Eye of Vecna because I assumed this game was going to go long. But I did not expect the Kodama Sakashima to go for it right then and there. It's how it is, right? Sometimes a window presents itself, and you got to seize the opportunity.
Very much
Oh,
so.
well played.
Thank you
Pretty
very
much,
much.
yeah.
And Migs, what were you planning? I know you had plans, man. I know
Yeah,
you
so
had
my-
plans.
yeah.
What were those
My plan
original
was,
3 you got rid of?
Yeah, my plan was pretty simple. So turn 1 Wish Claw, save it up. Turn 2 Varolz. Turn 3 use the Wish Claw to tutor for anything to get Hulk. Honestly, I was probably going to go for Hulk because I also had an Ancient Tomb in hand. Unfortunately, that second draw was a Disciple of the Vault, which is part of the pile. I didn't want to just play it out because I knew it would eat interaction. and that would make it more complicated. So I was sort of hoping that Manners, you would try and go off first and have Strix and Jank waste their interaction if they had any, and try and go second after that. It is what it is with Hulk. Sometimes you draw the pieces and you have to figure out the line. Another card that I could have used was a Finale. I just couldn't think of anything that could have gotten me there on my specific turn. I think I could have used the Wish Claw to tutor for interaction, but same as you, Strix, I didn't think that Kodama Sakashima was just going to win the next turn.
What about you, Jank? What were your schemes and plans?
Schemes and plans. Well, that I was sad about the welding jar because it gave me no interaction, but all of the cards that I wish I had in my opening hand. Why can't I get this as an opening hand instead of what I got?
And what did you have
Nah.
left in your hand before the welding
I
jar
had
went off?
So pretty much I had a choice to make on my turn, and the choice was I'm in fourth, be greedy, but play something that can still interact, or just hard interact. I still had a generous gift.
Ooh.
But because I was fourth, I needed to try and go for a win and interact at the same time. So I did this instead because this and one other card is my win con. One of my win cons. But I kept my hand simply because it had these 2 and 3 lands. And I was like, and a Vexing Shusha.
Oh,
So
I will
was like,
say, I did notice you didn't crack the Ranger Captain when the wheel went off, because I think you assumed I was going to get one of the many interaction
yes.
pieces in
Yeah.
Urza, and it's like, yeah, I think after we saw that,
Yeah. So between both you and Mix, I thought, well, Mix is definitely going to run like Assassin's Trophy, Abrupt Decays, stuff like that, like a creature removal. I'm like, and he's got 4 mana open, probably going to happen.
yeah,
And then I was like, you're bound to have something. I think I'm okay. And then, yeah, it didn't didn't happen. But at that point, it didn't matter anyway because Kodama, the stuff comes in and it's not cast, it's just come in. So it didn't matter regardless.
yeah.
yeah.
That was
I think
good.
that's that. I
Yeah.
think part of it is it's not so much knowing when to go for it, but just to go for it. Because there are
That's exactly
times,
Yeah.
Jank just said, he thought about the Assassin's Trophy, and I forgot about the Abrupt Decay, but that's another big one in Golgari. Been hit by those many a time. So, yeah, I was expecting at least someone to have interaction or to get interaction, I suppose, from that wheel, and that's what worried me the most.
Yeah.
Even though there's 2 players who don't have blue, there's still enough cards in those colours to generally have an effect. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
It's one of those things being in fourth place is that I think we were talking about the other day is do you play the greedy plays or do you hold out? And that was me playing one of those greedy plays where I'm like, I'm so far behind. I need to do something to try and win. And if I didn't, we would have had that.
Yeah, you're not the table police this game, Jack.
Yeah,
You should be
exactly.
strict.
Yeah, I was like, there's a blue player too. I think I'm alright.
and
Until we
that's a
weren't.
good point with the table police, because at least in this game it looked like the table police were on strike. So, I'm more than happy for that, Strix. Thank you very much, mate, for annoying them enough that they couldn't come and say no.
Thanks for watching the After Game Review. We hope you found it useful and tune in for next week's instalment from Game On.